Joplin police investigated death from a house fire. We'll hear from a Joplin health official about rising coronavirus cases in the city.
Millions of Americans could receive COVID vaccinations this month. I'm Elise Preston with a look at where the vaccine process is now as the U.S. continues to break records for new cases.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Joplin police investigate a fatal house fire. This is KOAM News at 5. Joplin Fire Department early this morning responded to a house fire here at 1730 South Pitcher. Firefighters entered the house and were able to find and remove 68-year-old David Crowder. 2 females had already escaped the house. All 3 were taken to the hospital, where Crowder later died, and one of the females was last listed in critical condition. JPD and fire officials are investigating that fire. Doug Heddy joins us now with a first look at the weather.
Hey, Dow. It turned out to be a better day for us today. At least we got some sunshine out there and temperatures warmer than what we did see yesterday. Clear skies right now. There's not much going on across the entire 4-state area. In fact, the entire Central Plains look pretty good. So we're going to see pretty good weather as we work into the weekend, as there's not any storm systems out there. We have a couple that are going to give us a little glancing blow, but besides that, we look pretty good. Temperatures dropping back upper 40s to near 50 degrees, and we'll continue that downward trend as we go through the overnight hours. You can see dropping through the 30s and then eventually near 30 later on tonight. I do think we're going to have the issue of fog once again, kind of like we did have last night. Through the evening hours, dropping to 40 by 8, down to 35 by midnight. We're going to look at the weekend here in just a bit.
All right, we'll see you soon. Thanks, Doug. Coronavirus cases are rising again in the area following Thanksgiving. Local health officials and the CDC urge people not to travel for Thanksgiving and to limit family gatherings, fearing a surge in cases. Joplin health officials say the cases were beginning to trend down. However, the number is now rising.
It's hard to say right now. An incubation period. So if someone was exposed on Thanksgiving Day, they could come down with coronavirus anywhere from that Saturday to December 11th. So we're kind of still in the incubation cycle to see the true effects of what Thanksgiving was.
Tonight at 6, we're going to hear more on where numbers are and what officials are seeing when it comes to the spread of the coronavirus. Missouri is set to receive more than 300,000 COVID-19 vaccines by the end of the year. The director of the state health department says they should be able to give the first dose of vaccine to all healthcare workers and long-term care residents and employees by the end of this year, this month. There'll be an additional 339,000 vaccines sent at the end of December or early January for the second dose. Once that group is covered, they'll move to essential workers. They'll move to the general public by May 1st.
And that will involve very much mass vaccinations. That will be gymnasiums, drive-through clinics, doctors, pharmacies, FQHCs.
The vaccine will be free aside from a small administrative fee, but no one will be turned away because they can't afford that fee. We're going to have more on the distribution plan tonight at 6. The CDC is now recommending universal mask use indoors when social distancing can't be maintained. The agency is also advising mask use at home when a member of the household has been infected or even just exposed to the virus. The new guidelines come as the U.S. reported more than 217,000 new cases of COVID-19 yesterday, a new record. Elise Preston reports.
With more than 100,000 people currently hospitalized in the U.S. with the coronavirus, medical professionals are describing the toll the pandemic is taking on them.
Patients that are dying in front of our eyes. My nurses cry in the middle of the day when they see their patients dying.
72-year-old Janice Brent of Chicago died of the virus just 10 days ago.
I couldn't go to Chicago. I couldn't be with her. I couldn't hold her. I couldn't hug her. I couldn't even see her. And the last time I hugged her was, a year ago, and she's gone.
In California, where hospitalizations have soared nearly 200% in the last month, business owners are bracing for strict new lockdown orders that go into effect when ICUs reach 85% capacity. likely in the next few days.
It will greatly affect us before Christmas. It's our busiest time of the season.
Help is on the way. The head of the Food and Drug Administration says 20 million Americans could be vaccinated this year, following a review of Pfizer's coronavirus vaccine next week.
We have all hands on deck, and we expect to move very quickly after the Vaccine Advisory Committee.
It's up to each state to prioritize which of its residents receives the initial doses of the vaccine. Here in New York, the state says healthcare workers and nursing home residents will be the first groups to get it.
New York expects to begin inoculations by mid-December. Elise Preston, CBS News, New York.
Pfizer had to cut its production target for the end of the year in half because of issues with ingredient standards, according to a Wall Street Journal report. But the company says it made those revisions back in November and that the U.S. is still on track to receive its 20 million dose allotment by the end of the year. The Democratic-controlled U.S. House today passed a bill to decriminalize and tax marijuana at the federal level. The bill would not make the drug legal to possess at the federal level, but it would remove any criminal penalty. The bill now heads to the Republican-controlled Senate, where it likely will not advance. But it brings us to today's KOAM News Now Insta Poll. Today's question is, do you support the federal decriminalization of marijuana? You can vote at KOAMNewsNow.com/vote or through the KOAM News Now mobile app. Results are updated live, and we're going to check in on them periodically through KOAM News at 5. Then we'll have the final results on KOAM News at 6. Still ahead, the latest jobs report.
Hiring is slowing down as COVID-19 infections are rising. I'm Diane King Hall with how millions of unemployed workers could soon see their monthly benefits go away.
And next in Health Watch, why gastric sleeve surgery is becoming more popular than gastric bypass. 40% of all Americans are now overweight. As obesity continues to skyrocket in the U.S., many people are considering bariatric surgery to help put them on a healthier track. For decades, gastric bypass surgery had been the go-to procedure, but in the last few years, gastric sleeve has become the surgery of choice. 41-year-old Tiffany Eifert has struggled with weight her entire life, at one point reaching a high of 245 pounds.
I've done lots of different diets where I would lose a significant amount of weight and then I would just put it right back on.
Tiffany dropped weight after adjustable lap band surgery. But when she developed complications, the band had to come off and the weight came back on.
It's depressing. Honestly, it is.
Tiffany decided to try a permanent option. This time, Dr. Kuldeep Singh performed gastric sleeve surgery. With gastric sleeve, doctors remove 80% of the stomach, leaving a small tube or sleeve.
Since you're not touching the intestines, you don't get long-term issues like malabsorption, nutritional issues.
With gastric sleeve surgery, the surgery is less complicated, meaning a shorter hospital stay and quicker recovery. By comparison, during gastric bypass surgery, which has been called the gold standard, doctors create a small pouch and reroute the small intestines.
If you have somebody with much more weight to lose, say 400, 500 pounds, then bypass is a better choice.
Dr. Singh says patients who have diabetes, acid reflux, or serious heartburn tend to do better with gastric bypass. For Tiffany Eifert, gastric sleeve was a first step.
These weight loss surgeries, they're a tool. They are not an easy fix. I know some people think that they are. It's a struggle.
Since 2007, gastric sleeve surgery has been gaining in popularity and now accounts for more than 60% of all weight loss surgeries. If you have diabetes, gastric bypass surgery could help you achieve remission. New research from Oregon shows 57% of adults who underwent the surgery saw improved blood sugar levels in the long term. Gastric bypass surgery reduces the size of the stomach, causes hormonal changes, and can lower the amount of nutrients that are absorbed from food. There's a new coronavirus surveillance system. Developers from Northwestern University and the University of Florida say the app will be rolled out in 195 countries. It'll track not just where the virus is now, but where it's headed and how fast it'll arrive. Doctors at Boston's Children's Hospital say there was a sharp drop in pediatric asthma visits to the ER during the COVID lockdown earlier this year. Researchers say this could mean COVID is not increasing asthma symptoms and that social distancing measures are beneficial to asthma patients. All right, let's check back in with our KOAM News Now Insta poll. Again, our question today is, do you support the federal decriminalization of marijuana? At this point, 83% of respondents say yes, they do. You can join in the conversation by voting at KOAMnewsnow.com/vote or through the KOAM News Now mobile app. Doug Heddy's up next with his complete forecast, and a little bit later, a popular ride-share service asks federal health officials to designate its drivers as essential workers.
Well, it turned out to be a better day for us today. At least our temperature's warmer, and at least we got some sunshine, something we haven't seen over the past couple days. We are in a little bit of a boring stretch of weather, or nice weather, I guess. Not a ton is going on. The weekend looks pretty good. We do have a bigger storm system which will affect us next weekend. Of course, you can get my long-range forecast on my month-long blog. That is KOAMnewsnow.com. Look at our temps yesterday, only into lower 40s. We dropped back near 30 this morning. We had the fog. And then today we got up into lower 50s. So it's actually been pretty nice. 51 in Fort Scott, 50 in Indy. Miami a little bit cooler at 46. Anderson 46. Stockton is checking in at 47 degrees. Looking east from our station in Joplin, 47 west winds at about 5 to 10. Humidity is at 54%. We're going to slide back through the 40s, 30s, down upper 20s to about 30. A little warmer in our southern counties, but our northern counties will drop into the mid to upper 20s. But nothing is going on here. We have clear skies across the region with a storm system which is wrapping up across the eastern seaboard. But if you look out toward the west, we have pretty much clear skies. Now, we have a storm system. You can see it in northern parts of Mexico. This is going to slide to our south, so it won't really affect us. Then we have a couple waves across the northern plains, which will slide just to our east, so they really won't affect us. So we should stay dry, but we are going to see at least some temperatures fluctuating over the next couple days. Storm system wraps up across the eastern seaboard. Look at that little system just to our south. This is on Sunday, so on the back side, we're going to cool down a bit Sunday into Monday. Then we get into this nice ridge of high pressure. It looks great until that next big storm system will start to pull out. It's going to come out in two chunks. We'll get the first chunks next Friday, and then a stronger system will pull out next Saturday into Sunday. So we are going to have chances for some winter weather with that system. We'll just kind of have to keep our eyes on it and see how it adjusts over the next week. For us tonight, watch out for the fog again. I do think we're going to get some fog building in. We'll drop back near 30. So we'll start at 32 with some fog in the morning. Then we're going to warm through the 30s into the 40s, about 50 by noon. And I think most of us will top out about 54 during the afternoon. So Saturday looks fantastic across the entire four-state area. So let's go from tomorrow evening into tomorrow night. Some clouds will start to build in as we drop back right around 30 for an overnight low. As we head into Sunday, I also think looks pretty good, just a notch cooler, high temps right around 50. And then we'll drop back into the 30s again by Monday morning. And then Monday, a hair cooler, high temps into the upper 40s during the afternoon. Let's go 54 tomorrow, 50 on Sunday, 51 by Monday. But look at Tuesday, 56, 64, Wednesday, 65 on Thursday. So a nice stretch of great weather before our next bigger storm system rolls in next weekend.
Yeah, a lot of good days to get outside and get some fresh air in the week ahead, it appears.
Absolutely.
All right, thanks, Doug. Firefighters in Southern California are still working to get the upper hand on a dangerous wildfire burning south of LA. The Bond fire started as a house fire Wednesday and has now burned about 6,400 acres with only 10% contained. At least 2 firefighters have been injured. Coming up, I'll look at the latest unemployment numbers. First, though, we honor a local World War II veteran. Val Bever served in the U.S. Army from 1943 to 45. The Girard, Kansas native was stationed in North Africa and Italy. And we salute Sergeant Val Bever, a four-state hero. The increase in coronavirus cases, hospitalizations, and deaths continues to have a negative effect on the job market. Reporter Diane King Hall has the latest employment numbers.
The hard-hit restaurant industry in Los Angeles is now struggling even more. The county has banned outdoor dining because of rising COVID-19 cases, putting servers out of work again.
This is going to affect me and my family for sure 100%. Because I'm basically the breadwinner of my family.
The surge of coronavirus cases is slowing the job market recovery nationwide. U.S. employers added just 245,000 jobs in November, a big drop from the 610,000 in October. Still, the unemployment rate fell from 6.9% to 6.7%.
In any normal time, a 245,000 month would be a good one.
But CBS News business analyst Jill Schlesinger says the economy has only regained about half of the 22 million jobs lost when the pandemic hit.
It just takes a lot more than 6, 7, 8 months of job creation to make that up.
More than 10 million Americans, including Diane Crispin, are unemployed, and many like her could see their benefits expire. She stopped working as a Lyft driver in the spring because of a pre-existing condition. She receives assistance under the Pandemic Unemployment Assistance Program, which gives money to certain workers, but it's set to expire December 26th. Her only option is to start driving again.
I'm not sure I'm willing to risk my life as this is spiking.
Congress is working on a new stimulus package that would include expanded unemployment assistance, but it's not clear when or if Republicans and Democrats will reach an agreement. Diane King Hall, CBS News, New York.
Uber is asking the CDC to consider drivers essential workers. The rideshare service is making the request in order to help drivers gain access to early COVID-19 vaccine distribution. The company says its drivers provide critical transportation for essential workers, among other services. Walmart's 1.5 million employees are getting a fourth round of bonuses since the pandemic hit. Full-time workers at Walmart or Sam's Club stores will receive $300 on Christmas Eve. Part-time workers will get $150. This bonus comes as labor-backed groups have been ramping up pressure on retailers to extend extra money to workers who felt the brunt of the pandemic. Taking another look at our KOAM News Now Insta poll. Again, we're asking, do you support the federal decriminalization of marijuana? At this point, still overwhelmingly yes, 82%. Still have time to vote at KOAMNewsNow.com/vote or through the KOAM News Now mobile app. Final check of the weather next. The CBS Evening News is next. Then on KOAM News at 6, Pittsburgh police investigate an armed robbery at a convenience store. Plus, an area health department updates its quarantine guidelines following the new CDC guidance. And we're going to hear from the Lamar Tigers before they take on St. Pius X tonight for the Class II state title. Stay with us for the CBS Evening News and then KOAM News at 6. Our annual Toy Box campaign is in full swing. Each year, we ask for donations of toys or money to buy toys to give to area kids in need. You can find a list of toy drop-off locations on our website, KOAMNewsNow.com, or you can donate by phone during our Toy Box Tuesday telethon. Your financial donation, that's going to be this coming Tuesday on our noon, 5 p.m., and 6 p.m. news. Now, let's check back in with Doug Heddy.
All right, Dow, it's going to be a cold night tonight. We'll drop back to about 32. Now, I do think we're going to get some patchy fog again, so watch out for that if you are going to be on the roadways into the morning hours. But tomorrow looks great. Sunny skies, 54, 50 on Sunday. The entire weekend looks pretty good. In fact, we warm into the 60s by the middle of next week.
Thanks, Doug, and thank you for joining us. We'll see you right back here at 6. In the meantime, let's take care of ourselves and each other.